Hello, I'm Robert Dykstra. I'm an immigration consultant in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I'm going to talk to you today about work experience in Canada. If you've been studying immigration programs, you recognize soon that work experience in Canada is going to be necessary for your immigration. Some people who have excellent experience and high education and the right age category can immigrate without going through work experience in Canada, but for many of you, you will need to work in Canada. Now, work experience means a lot of different things, and before we start planning where you're going to work and what you're going to do, you should understand that work experience means different things to different government departments. One thing is self-sufficiency. Some departments want to know that you can support yourself while working and living in Canada. Other government departments want to know that not only can you support yourself, but are you going to contribute to the Canadian economy by supporting the businesses that you're working for. Some governments are looking to see if you can get a job, that means your skills are needed in Canada and you have a marketable skill. Other government departments are looking to see if you are culturally adapted enough to work in Canada. So your work experience proves that, yes, I'm culturally adapted. And then other programs, particularly in the provinces, are looking to see where you work and have you shown a connection to that province where you're working. So work experience means a lot of different things, and this is something to consider at the beginning rather than after you've completed the work experience and then try to figure out what you're going to do with it. So, as we talked about earlier, the national program for express entry and the provincial nomination programs both favor people with experience, work experience in Canada. Work experience in Canada can increase your express entry points by 50 to 100. And then the provincial nomination programs, they will favor people who have worked in their province and have shown that they live in the province and that they plan to stay in the province. So in order to work, you're going to recognize soon you need a work permit. And there's two main types of work permits. One is an employer-specific work permit, and the other one is an open work permit. Now we'll start with the employer-specific work permit. This is a work permit that starts with the employer. The employer has decided that they need to hire a foreigner and not a Canadian or a permanent resident in Canada. The reason for this desire to hire a foreigner is maybe they have a skills shortage, they can't find Canadians who want to do the type of work, or they cannot find Canadians who want to work in the place that they want them to work. So as the employer, you have to go through some steps before you can hire a foreigner. First is you have to prove that you've tried to hire a Canadian or a permanent resident. You have to prove that through advertising and interviewing if people apply. So you have to show the evidence of the business trying to hire a Canadian employee. And then the next part would be to apply to the government for permission to hire a foreigner, which is known as the LMIA, and it requires an application and a sizable application fee, and that will tell the government, this is what I've done to try to hire a Canadian, and the LMIA, Labor Market Impact Assessment, will be done to decide whether this is true or not, and whether a work permit can be issued by this employer. So, the other main type of work permit is the open work permit. Now, the open work permit is decided by the government department. It's not in the law, so the rules related to open work permits can change quickly. One of the main open work permits that people apply for is the post-graduation work permit, which is a work permit available to international students. Now, after an international student has completed a year of study or 2 years of study or even more at a publicly funded Canadian college or university, and they've graduated, then they can apply for a post-graduation work permit. If they've studied for 1 year, they'll be eligible for a 1-year work permit. If they studied for 2 years or more, then they'll be eligible for a 3-year work permit. So that is a way a lot of people are immigrating as economic immigrants into Canada. Another open work permit option is those open work permits available to spouses of people who already have a permit, either a study permit or a work permit. Now those spouses are allowed to work while their husband or wife is studying. And with that work experience they gain, they can use that Canadian work experience to apply for immigration to Canada, either through provincial nomination or through express entry. I'm Robert Dykstra. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it very informative. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe.